we do got Vic in the building.
So, basically to start it off, I think, Deshawn, I just want to ask you, man. So, because I know a lot of people were interested, especially at InvestFest, like how I got started. So, I kind of want to ask that question to you. Like, what were your early influences with how you got to into financial literacy?
So, um, honestly, man, you was one of my early influences, bro. Like, I think it, it was just it was me graduating from college with the bachelor's, realizing, cool, work wasn't really happening. So I started being a teacher, started going to grad school. And in that time, it was like, all right, this money thing, there's more to it than just working a 9 to 5, getting paid, putting money into a savings account. And it was someone in your life who kind of introduced the idea of even investing in the stock market, right? I mean, of course, as you know, when we were younger, we didn't have like retirement accounts. We didn't set none of that up. Like none of that was even there. So it started with this app called Loyal 3. What was it, Loyal 3?
Yeah,
It was
was
basically our first introduction to trading in the stock market. We were able to buy fractional shares. And I'm gonna try not to throw too many like vocabulary words out there, but basically we were able to purchase shares without purchasing an entire share. Like if we wanted a share of Square, we can purchase 12.3 shares of Square. That was the initial introduction to it. And from there, man, it just was like, all right, well, now we got to learn about retirement accounts. Now we got to learn about brokerages outside of, Loyal 3, where you can just purchase normal shares, opening up retirement accounts on your own. And then also, this was when we had just started working our jobs as teachers. So we were actually getting a retirement account outside of just, the ones that we started on our own. So, yeah, man, like a combination of all those conversations and then just realizing that it's not just us who don't know this information, right? We aren't the only people. When we're talking amongst our friends, it's almost like these are new conversations that we've never had before. And it's like, we are 25 years old. Why are we why are we just
probably
not getting introduced to the stock market and retirement? Like, so from there, it was like there's a gap, bro. There's a gap in the financial literacy. There's a gap in financial education. And that is kind of where it started for me, right? Like wanting to bridge that gap, wanting to talk to more people about it and get people to understand how important it is. Like even investing at an early age, like as early as possible. So that was my
man.
start.
I completely agree, man. And I just wonder. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like we did. Luckily, we started at still a young age because
Mm-hmm.
we started at what 20, 24, 23, somewhere around there. I'm
Yeah,
just like, what if we had started at 18?
I
You see what I'm
know.
saying? That
I
was
know,
5 years of us just not knowing. And that's why it's kind of crazy to me that they're not teaching these things in grade school.
man.
Because really it should start from elementary. It should be embedded in us. Because one thing that everybody has in common, no matter what their background is, no matter what their career track is,
Mm-hmm.
they need
Mm-hmm.
they need money.
Exactly.
They need to know how to manage their money. So for that to not be one of the core subjects in school is insane to me. And I see that a few states are actually adopting that. So hopefully Georgia will be one. And I know that you're in Cali, so hopefully that'll be one in the near future. So what exactly do you think was your turning point? Like at what point? I know that you mentioned a few things. You mentioned like after you got your bachelor's and
Mm-hmm.
when that person came into our lives and started talking about investments to us. Like, but what exactly do you think was the turning point for you?
I think the turning point for me was seeing those games, bro. Like seeing
Yeah.
the games, like putting the money in and just letting it cook. And then 6 months later, your 1,000 turned into 2,000, or your 2,000 turned into 4, or however much it was. I mean, I'm making up numbers, but just knowing that this is not necessarily something that I put so much time into as far as like going somewhere, trading my time for money. It was just I learned about this thing and I invested. And a lot of things, like the big difference between investing and like working a 9 to 5 is you get a lot of that time back, right? Of course, you spend the time studying and figuring out what you want to invest in. But honestly, bro, the turning point for me was seeing that return on the investment, seeing those numbers go green, seeing that positive percentage going up. And I'm like, that's all I have to do was take some money, put it here, and let it sit
And
and wait and wait, man. And that's one of the core things. Like when it comes to investing, starting young is that consistency, or just making sure that your dollar cost averaging continuously money, putting money in, but also most important is being patient because so many people want that return to happen in like a week or a month. And it's just like, man, come on. That can happen for some people, but the slow grow, I think that's like the key to financial freedom, right? Like just letting that money grow real slow. So,
man, it's funny that you stated being patient, because I don't know if you remember, like I think we talked about this a little bit on the last one, but I don't know if you remember when we were in Nintendo and we kept like jumping in, jumping out, jumping in, jumping out.
yes.
Every time it went down the slightest, we get out, and then when it was going up, oh, let's get back in, let's get back in. And yeah, we made a little bit of money, but you know, at that point we're day trading.
No,
And you know,
seriously.
yeah, and at
Yeah.
that point we didn't have the 25,000 in there to day trade.
Right.
So we ended up getting our accounts banned. I don't know if you
Oh, I
remember
do.
that.
It was 6 months, right? Where we just couldn't.
I
I
I
think
feel
it's
like
like
it was crazy like that. It was either like 6 or 9 months. I can't remember. It was
basically we had to wait pretty much like almost a year, bro, before we could like do any type of what was it called? The uh the margin. Like we couldn't use any margin. We put money in. We had to wait like 3 days
yeah.
before we could use the money that we put in, all because well, that was because we didn't really know the
We didn't
rules,
know.
right?
We
Yeah, we
didn't know.
didn't know the rules. We didn't know the rules. So like the whole 3-day trades, or is it 5-day trades in a week, something like that. But yeah, you were right. We were extremely impatient, and another thing we were doing was trading with straight emotions, bro. Like that's something else that if you're going to get into the market and the plan is to grow your money slow, be patient, you cannot trade on emotions. And that's exactly what we were doing. We were like watching Nintendo go down, getting scared or whatever, pulling the money out. We see it go up, we get excited, we put the money in. So that's another thing you got to try and avoid when you're going into this market. Is just trading with so much emotion because yeah, you end up losing out on money because
And
because you
you'll
just
get banned.
say what?
I said, and you'll get banned.
Oh yeah, and you'll get banned too.
We had to open up a whole nother account. I opened up a TD Ameritrade because of that.
Bruh, I remember, man. I remember, bro.
So,
But all right, so what about you though, Cornell? I know that I talked about kind of my origin or my beginning of how I got into, wanting to learn more about financial literacy, financial education. What was it for you?
all right. So, for me, this might sound funny, but I think that facts over feelings oh yeah, facts over feelings for sure. Uh,
Facts.
so for me, it was actually, and this might sound weird, but I think it had to do with low self-efficacy. Me not feeling that I could do a lot with my main job. Like at that point in my life,
Mm,
know what I wanted to do. I was coming out with a bachelor's degree. I'm in student loan debt. I don't know what I'm about to do with this behavior analysis degree.
right,
Because at
right.
this point, this is before I'm a teacher. You see what I'm saying? So this is before like I became department chair, like all that. So
Yeah,
I didn't have high hopes for myself because I didn't know what I wanted to do. And now that I'm older, I see that that's most people that's coming out of college. But at that point, I didn't see it as that. So my friend Jordan, he actually told me about a savings account. It started with a savings account. You're loading, bro. Are you still here?
I'm still here. You were were just loading on my end. You were mad pixelated, but you're good now though.
All right, I just turned off my Wi-Fi. Is that better?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yep.
Okay, you still look a little fuzzy, but
All right. How about you look good on my end?
all right, so it might be on your end.
Okay.
Let's run it. If you can hear me, let's run it. So yeah, Jordan, he told me about a savings account.
Mm-hmm.
So it was where you could just put your money in and get 2% on it just by letting it sit there. So
Mm-hmm.
from there, I'm like, man, this is crazy. It wasn't a lot of money, but for me at that point, it was like I'm getting money for nothing. So even
Right.
all amount, like I just graduated from college. Like any amount is good for me. Like even if it's $5 a month, that's
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, for me, that's a whole meal. And being a broke new graduate, that's cool. So
Right.
from there, I was just like, man, there has to be another way to make money out of nothing. So
Mm-hmm.
then I started doing my own research, and I'm like, okay, so it looks like stocks is the way to go. But I think I had analysis paralysis because even though I knew I needed to invest in stocks, I didn't find out how, and I didn't do it on my own. So luckily, I found someone that was already doing it.
Right.
And when I looked at her account, I was just like, dang, like, how do I get to where you are? Because,
Mm-hmm.
her account looked crazy to me.
Yeah.
And I like, and I wasn't introduced to people that had that type of money in their account.
Right.
That wasn't something that I was privy to because it wasn't taught to us in
Mm-hmm.
the lower grades and throughout all of grade school. We just
Right.
didn't. So now
Right.
I'm seeing it. This changes my whole idea about money. It's not just let money come in and then let money go out. Like I'm retaining some of this money.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I'm retaining some of this money, and now that money that I'm retaining is working for me. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Nah, I was just gonna say what you said was extremely important, and it's like the network of people that you surround yourself with, right? If you were never introduced to that individual, if you and even to the point where she felt comfortable enough to show you her account, because we don't even know who we're hanging around. We probably did have friends that were investing in the stock
Not
market,
saying
but those relationship that wasn't the type of relationship we had with them. It's like, hey, let's go to the bar and take some shots, or you know what I mean, or let's hop on the Xbox. But it's never talking about the financial literacy part. My bad. Go ahead. What you gonna say?
crazy about what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
That people around you will be doing it, but you find out about it. It's like, oh, and then I get this information about the savings account from Jordan. I go to somebody else and I'm like, yo, did you know that you could just they'd be like, yeah, I knew about that. And you didn't say anything?
I'm telling you, bro.
You
I'm telling you.
and you didn't say anything? Like, what
Yeah.
is that? And then
Right. And
I'm sorry.
no. Go ahead. You want to roll?
With the stocks, we found out about stocks from that individual. Then I went back to Jordan. I'm probably gonna tag him in this too.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Jordan. I was like, yo, did you know about stock? This is the guy that told me about the savings account. He was
Right.
like, yeah, I had 50 shares of Starbucks when we were at Stillman. Like, so we in here playing Halo and Street Fighter, and you don't mention anything about you investing in stocks this whole time, bro. You gatekeep.
And that's what I'm saying, bro. That's
That's
what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like, I get it. Move in silence so you don't get distracted, but don't move so much in silence that you're not putting the people that you care about on like that. You gotta at least, you know what I'm saying, share game, share the wealth, man. And that, I think, is the perfect segue. That's why we created Investors Playbook. You feel me? That's why we are here, so that we can not do gatekeeping, so that we can educate and teach people everything that we have learned so far. Continue to learn from them, and really just like put it all out there, man. We don't want the excuse to be, I didn't know, right? Like, that is just, we want to teach people, bro. And I mean, that one of the reasons why we created this organization, this company, was to educate people and do that exact thing that was, you know what I'm saying, kept from us when we were younger. Not that it was even done on purpose or anything like that. It's just, I don't know, maybe they just thought we wouldn't be interested. I don't know what it is, man.
It's
But
yeah, it's not talked
yeah,
enough.
it's
So
not
now
talked about enough.
we're able to break that curse.
Mm-hmm.
You know, bring people into like bring people to the table and say, hey, look, I wish that I had done this when I was 18. And for the people that are older, it's okay because you
Yep.
know now's the best time to start. It's like, okay, you missed these years, but you can still have this by this time. You know, we can still give them a goal and teach them how to attain that goal,
Mm-hmm.
right? By them just putting money in now for their future,
Right.
because they still have to retire,
Yeah.
and your retirement depends on what you're doing now. If you're not doing
Mm-hmm.
the right things, you're going out and partying, and you're doing something crazy with your money,
Yeah.
then your retirement might not look like you want it to. You might have to. There are a lot of people that have to downgrade their lifestyle before retirement because they did not plan properly.
Right. Correct. And I think that what you just said, when I did my presentation at Nesby, one of the ladies who spoke said that exact thing. When she would talk to like certain financial advisors or certain financial coaches, their response was, only if you would have started investing 10 years ago. Like you don't, for someone who's trying to get financial help, that's not what you say to them. You
Doesn't
don't, you don't, it's not helping if you're telling them what they should have did 10 years ago. So I just want to double down on what you just said. It doesn't matter if you didn't start 10 years ago. Starting now is the perfect time to start, right? Starting now is the perfect time to start. And I mean, I have nieces and cousins who are like 21, 22, and that's like, yo, you are in the ideal spot. Like now is the time to get started. So even if it's not you getting the information for yourself, get the information for someone who you care about, who is at that age of like, all right, cool, now's the time to start investing.
mm-hmm.
But yes, to your point, age is not, I mean, your age does not determine how soon you should start investing. It's just when you're ready to, once you come learning information and you feel comfortable doing it, is when you should start. It doesn't matter how old you are.
Right.
So I definitely want to let people know that for sure. But yeah, man. Um, I guess another question that I have for you is how can we help people directly? Like what are some of the things that we can offer people as Investors Playbook? I know we said a lot, but like specifically, what are some of the things we can offer?
Um, First and foremost, which I feel like is the most important, you know, setting up people with a budget, because there are a lot of people that don't know what's coming in and don't know what's going out.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So even with these subscriptions, like people will get subscriptions and forget about them. They'll eat out every day, you know, which isn't always a bad thing if you have a budget for it.
Right.
So people letting people know where their money is going.
Yeah,
So that's the first part and the most essential part.
absolutely.
Secondly, what we do is we teach people how to invest. We teach them what account they need based off of their own individual circumstances. And
Mm-hmm.
we teach them what to look for when investing.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't manage portfolios, but we
Mm-hmm.
can teach how to create their own portfolio, if that
Right.
makes
That makes
sense. So
perfect sense. Make perfect sense.
now
Yeah.
they're not reliant on someone managing their portfolio, looking for advice and validation, because they know what to look for. They know what works. So
Mm-hmm.
they're able to do it with themselves now. So now they're able to when they get recommendations on what they should put their money into, they're able to use their own judgment and like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, is this a financially sound decision? Should I do this? Or just 100% trusting someone else.
Right.
I feel like money is too important to be trusting someone else with, because we
Right.
need it to live.
Right. Exactly. And to your point too, it's the budgeting, the assisting with the account creation, assisting with the account creation, um, teaching what to look for, but not only that, but just understanding finances holistically, right? I think helping teach people about the different vocabulary words that come with financing. I mentioned a couple, like dollar cost averaging. Someone probably never heard of that. Um, I know in the last live stream, we were talking about options. We were talking about calls and puts. People were like, it's like, it's almost like investing has its own language because like they was mentioning earlier, a call does not mean pick up the phone and call someone in the stock market. A put does not mean put something down. It means it's completely different definition. So that's something else that I just wanted to make sure, like even just that financial literacy glossary, right? Words that people just might not understand that go into understanding and learning those different types of investing and those different keywords and key terms that come when investing into the stock market, not just personal accounts, but also retirement accounts as well.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, that's something else that we do, the retirement. We help people set up with a plan.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, you were spot on with that. We ask people, what their goal is when they retire. Because, of course, nobody wants to take, like we mentioned earlier, no one wants to downgrade their life in their older years. So we figure out how much they want, what's their goal, how much they want, how much they'll need for retirement, and we come up with a plan on how to get there. Like, what do they need to put aside every 2 weeks to reach this goal for them? Because of course, everybody's goal is different. Everybody's lifestyle is different.
Right.
So, person's goal will not be another person's goal. So, what we offer is an individualized plan.
Absolutely. And that's one of the first things that we'll talk about, right? Before even the creation of the budget, we need to know what it is that you want, right? What your goals are. And that'll help tailor the budget and help us figure out how you should be allocating the funds that is coming in. So understanding your financial goals that's number one. Understanding what it is that you're looking to do. Is it to pay down debt? Are you looking to purchase a home? Are you trying to save for retirement? Like, what are your goals? So that's, again, something else that we definitely help with. And then just to add to something else we do, I think we mentioned earlier how important your network is. Investors Playbook is a growing network of like-minded financial contributors. So we offer that as well, not just the coaching, not just the budget creation, but also just a space for people to talk about finances, for people to bounce ideas off of each other. So it's not just me and you talking to an individual, but it's me and you talking to an individual and that person talking to someone else that's in the Investors Playbook group and them having a conversation. And who knows, like, we don't know everything about finances. Someone in our group can bring up a whole new topic, and that is just accessible to anyone inside the Investors Playbook group. So just making sure that people understand that network that we're creating of like-minded individuals is something else that we offer for sure. Just ensuring that the people, and of course, it'll be, positive conversations, but it'll be a good place to bounce ideas off of and learn about things that you might be interested in, things like real estate, things like understanding different tax codes, and the number of items just goes on and on and on. So yeah, network, our community is another thing that we have at the Investors Playbook. So another resource just out there,
And I'm looking forward to that growing, man.
Yeah.
And people coming to that group to just share what's happening in their financial journey, or maybe just to share a tip that people may not know, like how Jordan told me about savings account. There might be people there are people that don't know about high yield savings account. There are people putting their money in savings accounts with a 0.01 interest rate just because they don't know that there's better. Whereas the community's on Facebook. So it's actually in it's in both of this.
Our bios.
Yes, it's in Investors Playbook LLC. It's in the bio. You click on that. The Facebook community should be in the link tree.
Correct.
Along with
yeah, I was gonna say on our YouTube as well. Something else that they should go follow. What we can do is just post all of these in the chat, or you can click on Investors Playbook LLC and find us that way. But more than likely, it's going to be at Investors Playbook LLC on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube?
Right. So the YouTube was just started.
Mm-hmm.
So we're planning on posting content after today. This will go on our YouTube.
Yep.
So I have to go ahead and put that in the link tree. So that's not in the link tree right this second, but before the end of the day, it will be there.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, man.
But not.
I think that. How you feeling?
I think
Excited?
we hit all our points, man. I
So true.
feel like you made some real good points, some real good ideas to bounce off of. I think it's a good one, man.
You as well, man. You as well. I'm looking forward to this. Like you said, the community is going to be something that's just going to continue to grow. Um, I'm just as excited as you to kind of see this blossom. And it's funny because we we had an Investors Playbook community previously, but I think it was taking a direction that we didn't really want it to go. So
And the crazy thing, there were over 100 members in there.
I know. So just imagine now that we're rolling it out the proper way. I think that with this type of organization, we can give and provide people the resources that we want to give and provide them, right? So we actually feel good about the content we're getting out and putting out. So no, that was a big part of the last one. So yeah, man.
Well, sounds good.
Cool.
All right, next week. I'll see you next week, man.
All right, man. Well, yeah, thank you everyone who came and participated in the live. We appreciate the comments. We appreciate the questions. This was second week in a row. What's that consistency word that we like to use? All right, we'll be back at it again next week.
Straight up.
All right, brother.
Bet.